faint-hearted. It belongs to the brave. The future doesn't belong to the faint-hearted. It belongs to the brave. The future doesn't belong to the faint-hearted.
What is happening to me?
It belongs to the brave. The future doesn't belong to the faint-hearted.
What is happening to me?
It belongs to the brave. The future doesn't belong to the faint-hearted.
What is happening to me?
It belongs to the brave. The future doesn't belong to the faint-hearted.
What is happening to
It
me?
belongs to the brave. The future doesn't belong to the faint-hearted.
What is happening to
It
me?
belongs to the brave.
Look at yourself! Is that who you are?
I don't know. I don't know who I am.
We're all trained to do this, to take care of ourselves. You are the only person to help yourself.
To On the Block. We're going to be talking about Big Brother, and I'm here with my guest host, McCrae Baja Biamila. So, what's up? And we got joined by Matt Iseman, host of American Ninja Warrior. What's up, everybody?
How you guys doing?
Good.
What a thrill this is to be able to talk Big Brother with two of the legends.
Oh, yeah.
Not legends.
Yeah.
Not
I don't
legends.
know about legends.
Yeah. No, I think it's just super exciting. You're the first time we've ever had someone that's like a big name, like a
Yeah.
real guest. Like, you're a superstar in our eyes.
Yeah,
I
exactly,
mean,
exactly.
We're all reality people together here.
yeah, kinda. Well, you have discernible talent. I mean, you know.
Well, I'll tell you what's cool for me is I'm a fan of Big Brother. So for me, you know, I sat at home. I was live feeding. Live feeding really got bad during your season. So,
Yeah.
Freya, I feel like, I've watched you being intimate. Like, how much closer can we get here? And it's cool. It was cool. Like, I got to meet you guys at the finale, and Spencer meet your girl, and it's just been.
Oh yeah, I also have to
It's
apologize
fun.
for that. I mean, I know that I was a drunken wreck. I was just definitely a Becky train wreck of just drunkenness, being like, Matt Iseman, you're the
You
best.
were no boogie. Boogie's the best.
Yeah, oh,
Right.
man.
That's so
Nobody's more
good.
fun than Boogie.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if you're having a good time, you never have as good a time as Boogie is.
Yeah.
Are you guys coming out for the finale?
I don't know yet.
We kind of talked about it. We may go to Vegas and not go to LA. So I don't know.
So is that what happens? Because everyone was talking about it at the finale last year about where they were going to the party,
Yeah,
and that's Vegas afterwards.
yeah.
Yeah, someone usually sets up some sort of like hotel deals, stuff like that. Not everyone makes it out there, but I don't know. So we're just trying to kind of figure out what's gonna happen. Like, that's the thing, is like, I want to go to LA too, because it's like I met you,
love to.
like Shannon Elizabeth was out there, like there was all sorts of awesome people to meet, you know.
Chelsea
so.
Peretti. Yeah.
Chelsea
Oh,
Peretti.
and Matt, going back to when you were at the after party for Big Brother 15, like they took us all away. Took the final three out, and we had to be debriefed and all this kind of
Yeah.
stuff. So we got to the party late, okay?
Yeah.
And it was like everyone was like, the lights were on. It was about shutting down. Anyway, I was like looking at everybody. It's kind of weird because you've gone from seeing like nobody for 3 months to seeing tons of drunken people that are all pumped to see you, and you have no idea who they are. And dude, I turned around there. I was like, and there's Matt Iseman. I was like, oh my god, dude! It was like I was starstruck, dude, for real. It was awesome.
It's funny though, because we watch. You know, that's to me what I love about Big Brother. I think, other than American Ninja Warrior, it's one of the greatest reality shows on TV, because to me it's the greatest sociological experiment where you take people and you put them in a house, and other than, you know, the competitions, it's there's no intervention, there's no production. It's you people competing for $500,000, and the paranoia and the gamesmanship and the friendships and alliances and falling out and emotional roller coaster that's just amazing to watch. And when, you know, having watched the episodes and then going to the live feeds, and you realize how much doesn't get on. I mean, the night before Amanda was evicted, her and GM going at it. They couldn't even make it to the show because there was so much gold. But for the live feeders watching that, going, this is unbelievable. And I think Twitter has made it so much more of a social experience where we all watch it together, and you're on there with Hamster watching Jokers and all these other Uber fans, and you're you're tweeting about it, and I was just in a 5-hour voiceover session, and I kept going to my phone, watching the Oz Twins saga unfold, going, I can't wait to watch this. I'm so bummed I can't be doing it right now.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I think that's like, and everyone that's watching right now, you can just hear the passion. Like, just like the fact that you said that, it's like a sociological experiment. Like, that's what I think, like, that's what most of our fans are. These are the people that really love that idea of it. And that makes me so happy to hear. Before we get into the Oz Twins awesomeness, we usually start at, how did you get into Big Brother? Where did you get into it? But let's get into that, and then we'll do American Ninja Warrior.
So, well, the way I got into it was through American Ninja Warrior. So one of the producers who used to run the DR during your season, he was my talent producer on American Ninja Warrior since I started.
Okay.
And so he left American Ninja Warrior, and it was for BB14. He left us early, and he's like, I got a chance to work on Big Brother. And I'd heard about the show, but I never watched it. And so I'm like, listen, I support my friends. I'm like, I'll tune in and watch it. And that was when they had the coaching season with the All-Star Legends coming in. And by the end of the first episode that I watched thinking, look, this will be my 3 hours a week, I guess, that I'll give up for my friend. By the end of the first episode, I texted him 47 times, going, I can't believe this. What's Jody doing? She's going out. The coaching's amazing. Like, it's amazing how instantly sucked in you get.
Yes.
And you can relate to it. You can relate to the forced awkwardness of being thrown into this house with these people, knowing we're in this hopefully for 90 days. We know nothing about each other, and we know we're going to try to form alliances, but ultimately, I have to befriend these people and then betray these people. And to me, it's just fascinating. And the more I've gotten into it, that season, I'm watching, for me, the seminal moment was Dan's funeral, which, I've watched a lot of reality TV and stuff, and I don't think there's been a more impressive moment to take a house 100% against you. Dead, you're done. You're done. And to turn it around and get your biggest enemy thrown out. And to me, I was just like, I'd seen the strategy before, but to see how sometimes you feel like, look, I'm I'm being railroaded here. There's nothing I can do. And when you saw that, you're like, there's always something.
Yeah.
When there's
it's
in your head, there's always something you can do.
It definitely is relatable, like all that kind of stuff. Like, this is what humans go through, all these kind of different interactions and stuff like that. And we get to see it in a microverse, like on our TVs. So it's always relatable and stuff.
Yeah. I love how, like, when you walk in that door, you've got just the social skills that you've developed up to that point in your life to go in there and try to navigate your way through. Like, you look at somebody like Steve, who is really at a social deficit going in. Oh. I mean, he has not experienced near the stuff that
he's
other people.
He's a less charming Ian.
Oh, yes, absolutely. But, like, as it's worked out, he was somebody that was forgettable, and then all of a sudden now, he's HOH and he's won a few of them. He's won.
I thought that with Ian, there was a guy who uber fan, loved the game, and he had a strategy to his credit, but he didn't have to do any moves until he betrayed Boogie. And really, and even after that, I think he still managed to hide in Dan's shadow as Dan took all the vitriol. So, you realize, like, there are so many different approaches, and that's what's fascinating to me talking to you guys is, I'm sure you go in, and I know, McCrae, you were an Uber fan, and Spencer, you too. You guys go in knowing, I'm sure, having a strategy, but it's like American Ninja Warrior. I've watched 1,000 people do it, but when I go down, I realize it's so different when you're there. I can't imagine what it's like when you walk in.
It's like that. It's like that person. I can't remember who exactly it was, but they're like, it's like learning by doing. You can read about how to swim all your life, but until you get thrown into the water, like, what can you do?
Exactly.
And that's pretty much exactly what it is. Where it's, of course, I'm like, I'm gonna go in there. I'm just gonna destroy stuff. I'm gonna be so great in a hot shot. It doesn't work like that.
So let's hear it. Okay, Matt Iseman gets asked to do Celebrity Big Brother US.
No.
All right. Okay.
Shut up.
No!
Shut up. Bullshit.
No, because I know how awful I would be. I watch like the Hillbilly Asian, like watching James this past week.
Yeah.
Trying to make the peace with Vanessa and seeing this guy who I would have been like, oh yeah. I would have just lost it.
Yeah.
And there's a guy who swallows it and he's like, I know for my game I have to try. I have to try something. And I couldn't. I'm not a good
You
liar.
couldn't do it. You
I
couldn't
get
do it.
red in the face. I get passionate if someone betrayed me. I'd be like Devin. Call me out.
Yeah.
I just don't have it. I'm gonna say I did because that seems to have an impact.
Yeah.
So pretty much you're saying that you'd be one of the top 10 best house guests ever, essentially. Yeah.
Yeah. You'd get to have a complete meltdown.
I think I'm gonna play it cool, and I'm sure like Jace or Devin or these guys who go in there and play hard, like on the first day, and you're like, pump the brakes.
Yeah.
I could totally see you. I could see you doing that. It's easy to get wrapped up in that kind of game where it's like I'm already a target. I'm a target, so I got to start beasting on through, like right out of the start of the gates, And that's the mindset.
No, I don't have that ice water in my veins. But again, like you see people get nominated and they just stay calm and they talk their way out of it and they plant seeds, and you realize that. Like that's why I thought Derek was one of the greatest players, because he planted seeds all season long, and he got people to do what he wanted, but made them think they came up with it, and kept himself off the radar, and kept these low-profile alliances, unlike Audrey or even this year Vanessa's crazy, but and she's playing so, like James told her, you're playing so hard, and yet through this emotional manipulation and other people I think being a little weak, she's managed to get this far. But I couldn't do it.
Like, who are your favorites this season? Who are your favorites?
Well, I like James. I like Johnny Mack, and I just feel like there's a guy who's been playing with a broken leg the whole game, who just can't get out of the hole. He's constantly up on the block. No one wants to form the alliance with him. I mean, I look at Vanessa, and you realize they're bringing him on as safety so that they can immediately throw him under the block.
Sure.
Austin surprised me. There's a guy who goes in there and you see him as a total meathead, and yet has managed to have a much better social game than I thought he would. And I mean, a guy who physically you would have thought immediately they would have been like, we gotta get this guy out.
Absolutely.
And yet he's really managed to, I think socially, I mean, win over Liz particularly. Win over Twins and form a good alliance and keep a level head.
Yeah.
Today, from what I heard. But
Let's get into that.
He had to overcome Jace. I mean, Jace was a target early on when out first, and they'd broed up. I mean, like, he had to overcome quite a bit just at Jace.
And as soon as you saw Jace going out, you're like, well, they'll get Austin next.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
Jace is a prime example of a guy who's going in there, and he's like, a poor man's Hayden, who was kind of a poor man's Frank. And you look at him going, these are guys, and I'm sure it's also, people see the success of a guy like Frank, and that, everyone goes, oh, Hayden's Frank. We got to target Hayden. And same with Jace. But Jace was, such a meathead. And then having that meltdown, where you seal your fate. And you see it. I don't understand how anybody, like watching Jason and Davon both, going in with Audrey, where these people calling these house meetings, confronting people, going, you lied to me. It's Big Brother.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
People lie.
Yeah.
I understand why we're surprised by that. Like where, the guys, I'm sure when someone lies to you, you're like, but I need to take it in. They go, no problem. I'll stab you when I get a chance. But that's, I love it.
Spencer.
I sit there watching the live feeds going, oh, I'm so glad it's not me having to go through this emotion.
Oh yeah, there was plenty of times where I was lying to Spencer's face, and I knew that he knew that I was lying, and it was like this weird, delicate dance that we'd have to do from there on out.
He's the worst liar in the world. He's the worst.
That's what I think is and to keep track of the lies you've told, and to know when to say, all right, I'll give you a little bit of truth, but not sell someone out because you just see it. That's where I think, there's no paper in the house, right? You guys can't write anything.
You can't write anything.
To me, to keep track of, I know you're keeping track of when everything happens for all the comps, but keeping track of what lies you've told, what alliances you have, and what you just said, like watching Steve when Vanessa confronted her, and she was like, was there an alliance to get me out? He's like, no. And Johnny Mac comes in, yeah. And you can see Steve literally, I truly believe, was like, I forgot, this pressure's making me.
Absolutely. Well, and she's so intimidating that it's like,
Yeah.
oh my god, I don't know what the right answer is. Like, no matter what, you're gonna be coming after me for some reason.
Yeah,
like,
Ness is fucking full court
Scary.
press constantly.
yep.
When she put Meg up, and then Meg started crying, so Vanessa started crying harder. And then said, "You know how hard it was for me to put you up."
Yeah.
Like, it works.
She's good at it too. She's
You're
super
not
good
gonna
at that
outcry me.
victim card. Yeah, and
So-
it's a viable strategy now.
It is, but to me, when you see her as a poker player, I thought this woman is gonna be Derek 2.0.
Yeah.
Gonna go in there and just run these people, and then you start seeing her melt down, crying, and the stress on her face. You're like, I thought she's done. She's gonna implode.
Yeah.
She's out.
Well, night
And
one
yet-
of the feeds come back when the feed started that night. She was already crying and she was already like oh please be sympathetic towards me. And it's like, this is a weird new game that we haven't really seen yet, but it's actually working surprisingly. And as much as like it's so annoying for us to watch, we have to tip our hat and be like, she's actually like manipulating the shit out of these people.
Do you think that she's like somebody that'd be a total nightmare to be in a relationship with, like this kind of emotional type stuff constantly? Because do you think she's aware that this emotional manipulation is what's gotten her as far as it has? Or do you think that it's just so ingrained as how she is that like she's just struggling day to day to get through the house and that's her tools?
I've thought about that, Spencer. I thought about maybe this is a conscious strategy, but you don't. She hasn't said any of it in DR, at least not that they've shown us.
Yeah.
And to me, physically watching her deterioration and how unhealthy she looks,
Yeah.
I don't think she's aware of the manipulation. Like I think she does have a tremendous game mind,
Mm-hmm.
but I think this emotional manipulation is just inherent in her. And again, she's in a relationship. Hopefully, she's happy.
Mm-hmm.
But if I were with that, someone who, you've all been there.
Yeah.
McCrae, we just happen to see yours on national TV. But in a relationship with someone who knows how to manipulate you,
Mm-hmm.
and no matter what, you're like, oh, I'm wrong.
Yep.
And you just see her. She knows how to be the victim. But to her credit, she also knows how to be open enough to go in there and go, look, like, this is why I'm putting you up, and to talk to people about it. So at least no one feels like, oh, she's lying and scheming to their faces more,
Yeah.
which I think paradoxically has really made her less of a target. And whenever someone starts to get mad, she outcries them, and then they,
They're
you just
guilty,
need someone
yeah.
to go call bullshit on her and go,
Yeah.
no, you're.
Well, that's why Johnny Mac has been really I think that's why part of why Johnny Mac is just so favored right now is because he's been consistently the guy that's like, no, I don't believe this at all. How come she gets into fights with every person that leaves? Like, he's been calling it out, and so it's like that's pretty sweet to
Yeah.
watch.
And-
Johnny Mac, good job.
And what's awesome about it too is he came back in. He's like, "Fuck it, she got me out once. I'm gonna align with her."
Yeah,
Kiss her ass.
super smart.
As
And,
opposed to James.
and he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get Meg out. Meg's the goat. Fuck that. I'm the goat from now on. Take me to the end. Let me win my way to the final two."
Yeah, and
You know,
you're
you can
right.
do it.
And when you watch James come in and go, well, I'm just going to tell her she's my target, and that pretty much sealed his fate.
Oh yeah.
He goes up there and he tries to talk to her and be reasonable, and like, and you saw her even when he's like, you're playing too hard. I'm playing too hard?
Yeah. Crazy.
You're insulting me? Yeah.
Kept it, and that's when I was really impressed. He kept his cool, tried to talk his way out of it, but there was no recovering from Vanessa at that point.
Hey, if you were have to pick one for America's favorite, who would you say right now would be the top contender?
Yeah, who are you putting your weight behind?
I like Johnny Mac. I think Oz twins. I think I think the cute girls aren't going to get the vote, and Austin I think is, especially with this impending breakup thing where a lot of people are going to be like, he wouldn't fall on the sword for his woman. I don't think Steve. I don't think Vanessa. I don't think.
Where you got James placed in that running? James got to be pretty high.
You're right. I think it's tough, because it's going to be, what, 3 more weeks?
Yeah, it's something like that, I think.
Yeah,
Or,
3 weeks.
and I think it's just, I think it's tough to maintain. I think it's going to be one of these 5 or 6 remaining. So
you think that somebody left in the house will get America's favorite?
I think so.
That's
That's a smart estimation.
I just think it's so much. What have you done for me lately? And how
Sure.
people-
Well, I think they're gonna do the jury. They're gonna do a jury revisiting with James and Meg getting to the jury house. That'll give a little bit more time to James so that he can be wacky pulling pranks at the jury house, And they're definitely gonna highlight that shit, and so he might get some more chances to be on the show,
And the fact that Audrey blew him off when he was going for that love. And then Meg, on national TV, and then Julie Chen sets him up when he's like, something about it. He's like, I don't think it's going to happen. And she goes, how very realistic.
I was like, oh, shoot.
Killing him as she shakes his hand. His head pop, just,
I thought that was awesome.
That's so
it's great to watch, but, again, that's the thing. When you guys come out, and you don't know if she's setting you up for, well, how wrong you were.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. Oh yeah, like, what you didn't realize is that your whole cast is racists. Like, what? Like,
what about me on finale? She was like, some things were said. What do you think about that, Spencer? And I was like, I hope I didn't say anything.
Yeah.
We don't even have time to get into it.
Oh.
It's obviously a hot button issue. I will say, as someone who's a comic who thinks everything's fair game, who doesn't like hate speech, I thought some things were said that were inappropriate. I thought everything you said, I thought was really taken out of context.
Absolutely.
And that was one of those things where you're like, but that's one of the dangers of being on a show like this, where 90 days, 24 hours a day, you're on camera.
Oh,
and anything you say, even jokingly, even replying to something.
All right, well, here you go. What's your best racist joke? No, all right. No, I won't do that. Let's get into it.
Warrior host career
Yeah. Let's get into it, though. Where we last left off, Spencer, it was eviction night. We didn't really get to see who won that night. I was super drunk, but it turns out that Steve wins HOH. Big boy win. He really needed that. I think that's super huge for him, and it's really gonna put him in a good position. The only problem I think I see with that is he ends up putting up Austin and Liz. The bad thing about this is that there's going to be two of them sticking around. No matter what, the Austrians, two of them are going to be sticking around. They're going to be coming for blood. Like, they're going to be coming after Steve. Super dangerous, but, everyone that cried about Steve not taking...
come after Steve.
In theory. But, like, everyone crying about him not pulling the trigger and going after Julia, going into this double eviction, this kid does have balls because he just fucking put up some big dogs, So, again, everyone has to give credit to Steve. I think that he doesn't get enough credit, and everyone fucking rags on him too hard.
Yeah, people had written him off after they didn't vote out Julia this past double eviction. People on social media were just going crazy about him and Johnny Mac and saying
even Julia on Julie Chen on EW. Like, she did an interview with them, and she was pretty much like, Steve's an idiot. What a dum-dum. And I was just like, oh, come on, Julie. Like, jeez, cut the kid some slack.
You gotta know when you're gonna take your shot at the kid.
Sure.
And if you do, you can't miss.
Omar Little. Big. Oh, my heart just, oh, man. Matt,
And it's interesting, though, because you start looking at the numbers, and, the Oz twins are they're gonna take a leg out here, it looks like, but
absolutely.
They were gonna just cruise their way into it.
As of right now, they're half the house. Austin and Liz are currently nominated, but we'll just get into it.
Yep.
It was the bowl arena competition, as we saw in Big Brother 15, and Austin won the veto. Obviously, he's going to take himself down, and Steve, as of right now, is going to nominate Julia to split up the twins. I will say this, that Liz, Julia, and Vanessa were talking. Liz would prefer that Julia stay and her go because Julia's got a better chance of going farther because she's weaker. But Vanessa said that Liz is the one playing for $500,000. Julia's only playing for $50,000. But Liz, I think right now is wanting to be voted out and let Julia stay, which is interesting. So
is it? I mean, it's like with Clay and Shelley, where Clay is just like, I'll fall on the sword, and it's like, dude.
Never.
Get a piece of ass.
Exactly.
This is your chance at $500,000.
And like another thing, okay, it's like Clay doesn't have a whole lot of trouble, like getting women, I bet. So for him to give up Big Brother for for Shelley, I mean, she's a sweet gal and all, but I mean, there's no shortage in Texas.
I mean, do we think Clay is sitting at home knitting?
Exactly.
He's probably watching this right now with 3 girls on his jock. Going, you're right, suckers.
Yeah, Texas A&M grad student. Yeah, exactly. He's having a ball. Yeah.
So veto gets played today. Austin wins it. We talked about that. But the biggest news today is the feeds kind of blow up. I wasn't there to watch them. I was delivering pizzas, so sadly. Yeah, so I didn't get to see it.
Didn't change you, but
No, exactly. Get back to my
Get your
roots.
head,
Yeah, exactly. I'm a man of the people. So the biggest news I think is that the Austin Liz breakup. Who's got the information? I don't know what, but I read little remnants that they broke up or something like that, and Austin was like, "Oh, I had my game, like I gave up, I ruined people's lives talking about his ex-girlfriend."
He said that he ruined his life for her and all this kind of shit. It was just ridiculous. Like,
yeah.
It's the drama that I don't really care about with the show. You know what I'm saying?
But it's different. Well, it is the drama. It's the People magazine drama.
Show having a girlfriend and then hooks up with someone else.
Yeah.
No, here's the thing, though. Like, what I didn't get, and again, I was doing voiceover. So, by the way, we just got a shout out from Hamster Watch. And
Hey,
Oh yeah, I'm sure she's probably over the moon that you gave her a shout out. She's probably loves that.
No. But I'm just watching the Twitter, and Liz is blowing up like, oh, he wouldn't use the veto on me, and it's like, what do you expect? It's a game. He owes you nothing.
Yeah.
But I did see that she said, you know what, we'll get back together. I'm just mad at him right now.
Okay.
So,
I did not see that part.
rest assured, American public and viewers around the world,
Yeah.
that after finale, I think things will be fine. They'll be able to mend this fence.
Right.
So, but yeah, she was super pissed that I think it was more hurt. I wouldn't say she was pissed. Her feelings were hurt that Austin is not even entertaining the thought of using the veto. On her.
Yeah, like someone asked me, did you ever offer to use the veto on Amanda when you won it? And, I never did, but at the same time, I was reading back through, like, updates recently, and, like, one of them said where Amanda, like, jokingly, like, oh, well, you better use it on me or something like that, and it's like, even just reading that made me feel dirty, where it's like, ugh, like, I would never ask someone to do that, and, like, I don't know, like, Liz, the problem is that Liz is a recruit. She doesn't understand what's going on. Like, she thinks it's deserved to her. She thinks it's owed to her. But the thing is that Austin's a super fan. This dude, like, he's got a Big Brother tattoo. I talk about it every single fucking time, but it's like, the dude got a tattoo about a show that he was never even on. Like, this dude is dedicated. He's in for the long haul. So,
Absolutely.
And Amanda was as much as she was great because she was always like, I'd rather go before McCrae. Like, McCrae loves this game so much. Like, much
Which
to
is
her credit.
awesome to have. Which is awesome to have in the show.
Oh yeah, exactly. When people exactly.
It's a quality outlet for
Right?
the show, man.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely.
By the way, McCrae, I appreciate you cleaning up for the broadcast today.
I still got
This
my
looks
man
like
Seti's
it's
shit.
the hide and go seek veto.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
No, actually, hey, Matt, that's actually a fucking green screen. So
Oh, yeah,
this is
green
it.
screen on, yeah, he's not
He's
really there.
bitched.
Yeah.
And Amanda sold him,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Hey, those are all clean dishes back there. Those are all clean. I clean
Throw
those
a
myself,
towel,
damn
throw a
it.
towel.
Yeah, exactly.
I've got clean house behind me. I just have to
That's
say,
exactly
Yeah.
clean.
What's up?
Yeah.
Yes, my office is filled with photos of me.
Yeah,
That's
awesome.
exactly a
You might
shrine
have
to yourself.
You might have to get the gang back together and go over to McCrae's place.
Oh my God, wouldn't that be good? Just cross-pollinate.
Yeah.
So who do you guys like?
I'm an Austin fan.
I'm a Steve fan.
I'm a really big Austin fan. I've liked where he's positioned himself the entire game. I've loved his social game. I do think that obviously this week winning the veto is
Big.
of utmost importance for him.
Absolutely.
And it even possibly seems like he's probably next week he won't be a target. It's like this Austin was huge to go after and try to split up, but now that it's kind of crumbled, hey, maybe we can kind of work with part of them or all of what's left, or so I really think that he's got to. This week's going to go from 6 to 5. In Final Four, it's all about competitions, and I mean this dude is a professional wrestler of what level I don't really know. It's kind of like baseball. He's like in the way low farm leagues of wrestling.
Minor.
I think, but at the same time, he's a fit dude. He could win his way to the end, and depending on who he's sitting next to, win it. I'm a big Austin fan. I've had his back in this really since the Jace days. I was early. What was it, Shelltown? I was shelling with them. Yep.
Oh god.
But it is amazing how you think if you're really good with your social game, you only have to make 1 or 2 comp wins probably to get to towards the end.
Yeah.
And to his credit, he's let the Twins, I think, really become the main targets in the whole Twin thing, even though, again, when you look at it competitively, I think he is a much bigger threat.
Absolutely.
But he stepped up and won when he needed to. And I think he's got a good relationship with Vanessa, who I think can easily start manipulating the remainders and form some new sort of side alliance. And
yeah, with hearing that he won that veto comp today, I definitely start to look at him as like, well, this dude actually has like the chance to go he's got chops, he's got mad chops, like he's got the chance to go the distance essentially, because he hasn't won anything. He looks like a monster, like he looks like a mountain of a man, and like to me that would be the most intimidating thing. I would want him out first, and the fact that he's gotten this far and he's built like that, and like he's insulated. It just, to me, it's like this dude has such a great game right now, and no
Shane and Jeremy and Devin
and McCrae,
and those guys, those guys also, well, not Shane so much, but Jeremy and Devin engineered their own demise, by kind of being the meatheads, whereas Austin has paradoxically been one of the more chill dudes absolutely. Who I think he's really done a good job of positioning himself that way.
Well, yeah, exactly. Like after Jay started souring Austin's game, Austin, I don't know if you remember from the feeds, but that early on, even kind of separated himself a little bit from Jace. He knew he needed to, and he did. Jace was a little pissed off about it, but anyway, Jace leaves, and then Austin and Liz, they start kind of showmancing up. Well, once it's discovered that there's twins in the house, they're alternating, and of course Austin doesn't even know, but he's there, he's got Liz with him, and they're developing this relationship. Once Vanessa finds out about all this kind of stuff and says, hey, because Julia that tells her, Liz, I can't remember right now, but anyway, like they all pair up, and this whole alliance, Sixth Sense, is formed to pull Austin basically another number in. Because it's going to be Julia was going to be closer to her sister, and her sister was closest to Austin of that whole group. And he's positioned himself there. Clay and Shelley got taken out. Vanessa's been this huge target, and he's just kind of set back. And it's really been awesome to watch the amount of like hatred that seethed towards him, but like he doesn't have to do anything. He's been really chilled, and he's played a good social game.
And I think Johnny Mac does that too, which I think is the toughest thing to do, is to know when someone's a bigger target or when there's nothing to do, to be the dead fish and to not put a target on your back. And you see it. You see these people, especially what amazes me is every year you see it. When a group's in power, they act like they're going to be in power for the rest of the game. And they start calling, and next week we'll get rid of him, and next week and then.
They got their hit list.
You gotta be looking for the long-term game, which I think, your key's behind you. That's awesome, Spencer. Again, I think it's tough as someone who I know would be in the moment to be cool enough to say what's happening next week and the week after, and just to keep that strategy.
That's definitely big. And I mean, like, I was kind of in power fucking on my season, and like it was easy to just be like, oh yeah, we're just gonna keep rolling. Like, of course we're gonna keep rolling. Like, nothing bad's gonna happen. Like, shit's great. It's a fallacy of logic to think that because something's going good, it will always stay good.
Well, that's why like Amanda gets the reputation she gets, because she was basically on. With y'all's relationship, McCranda was basically the most influential power in the house. That everybody wanted to work with instead of against. Because if you were against Amanda, then your ass.
Well, that's the kind of like I want to bring that like comparison up of Vanessa and Amanda, because they they're different, of course, but at the same time, like I think they do the same kind of things where they I think they manipulate when they don't know that they're actually doing it. It's like they John Nash, where they're always thinking game and stuff like that, and they'll turn the waterworks on immediately when they think that it's going to help them, like even if they don't consciously understand it. Like I think they are very similar players. Of course, they're not the exact same, but I think they're so similar.
Amanda has got a bigger splash of Tony Soprano than Vanessa does, I would say. I mean, for real.
But I do think both of them are incredible in the mid part of the game. But I think they're playing, and even Vanessa, it amazes me when people will say that, like, I know I'm a strong player. Exactly. That's why we got to get rid of you. And Vanessa keeps talking about, I've engineered all these people's demise, and it's working, and she's manipulating people, but at some point, everyone's going to go, we have to get rid of her.
Absolutely.
And
it's crazy because there's so many weeks left. Or, there's only how many weeks? Like, now it's getting down to the real nitty gritty where it's like the shots that you take, they need to be on target. Otherwise, like, something bad's going to happen. You're going to be sitting next to Vanessa at the end. And that's not where you want to be, because she's going to win this whole damn thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. Matt, who do you want to win right now? If you were to pick and say that's who you thought deserved it and would be the champion, who you calling?
Well, who deserve? Look, Vanessa's played a hell of a game. I just think she's burned too brightly. I wouldn't mind seeing Austin. I wouldn't mind seeing Johnny Mac.
Okay. Great.
I like it.
I'd like to see any of those. What would you think Johnny Mac needs to do? Who does he need to be up against to win?
Well, Steve, I think if he were up against Steve, he would win.
Yeah.
I think against Austin, he could win because I think some people are kind of going to sour on Austin.
Sure.
And I think also he could, although, you know what I will say, when Steve and Johnny Mac were on the block, and Johnny's like, I like this game.
Amazing impression.
He's Bobcat Goldthwait.
Yep.
He is exactly.
And gave the speech of the year. Where he said, I came in here a nerd who played trombone. I've had these experiences. And I was like, you know what, Johnny Mac, I don't know that he could sell it. You know, when he's up speaking to the jury, I don't know that he could sell himself. So I don't know. I mean, Steve could really flip a house with kind of a sob story speech. And I think he's kind of the sad sack, lovable loser.
Absolutely.
Easily, making one move, one good HOH, he could put himself in position to win it. So Johnny Mac, I think, when you think about it, I don't know who he could be. Maybe one of the twins for sure.
Yeah, I think he can beat Julia, and you're right, Matt. I think he can beat Austin. Just depending on the jury, especially if they're soured at Austin. Depending on Austin's jury management and showman's management. If Liz and Julia go out pissed at him, I mean,
that could be
you know what I'm saying? He could be bitter. Yeah. That's about as bitter a jury as you could ask for. Is an ex-girlfriend and her sister on it. So
and that's one of the things, right? Like I think Dan Geese, like if season 14, if the jury had been given 3 days or a week to sit and take the emotion out of it and just watch the gameplay, I think Dan wins. Because I think they start to go, this is a guy who had a target on his back the whole time and ran this house and got rid of people. But that doesn't happen.
Yeah, he made him so damn sour. Yeah. Which is that's a part of the strategy kind of thing, where it's like that's definitely a part of the game. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's why jury management. That's why jury management.
Yeah.
It's like things like that's why things like your goodbye messages in the DR are important. I mean, like there's things that as a game player that you've got to be aware of, especially playing your second time. Talking about Dan, when you play your second time, you've got to be aware of these things. And I mean, there's no doubt that Dan's a great player, but everybody questions his jury management in 14. So it was definitely a blind spot. So anyway, well, hey guys, let's wrap this up. Matt, we want to say that you've got American Ninja Warrior coming up. It's on NBC. It's 8/7 Central, correct?
Yep, Monday nights.
Yep, and 2 hour this Monday and 3 hour finale.
Finale. It's amazing. We're you gotta watch. I can't comment. I can just say history will be made. There's a tease.
Hey. Yeah, that is a tease.
I wanted to say expect the unexpected. Someone.
Yeah, you're gonna get sued.
That was taken.
Yeah, and the best part about American Ninja Warrior is it doesn't compete with any Big Brother. It's perfect. It's perfect. It's a perfect crossover.
Perfect union.
Exactly. Matt, do you have anything else?
Finale.
What was that?
I hope you guys come out to the finale.
I want to. Now that
After it's over, stay on Skype with us. We'll talk about that a little bit. We're gonna try to get it all worked out. So we might. I've told Marilyn I'm gonna book tonight, either Vegas or LA. So anyway,
Matt, what else you got to plug? Anything else?
Just visit me on Twitter at Matt Iseman. I'm always on there. Actually, if you like, there was a kid who had a video that went viral on American Ninja Warrior, some little 3-year-old running a course, and I added my voiceover to it.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
So I'm just trying to make sure the kid sees it. So
let's everyone go share that. Everyone, I gotta see that. That sounds amazing.
Oh, and dude, I want to congratulate you because you've been Legoized.
Oh,
that is huge.
Actually, it's right here.
You have
Lego me.
Oh, that's so awesome. They have like a course, a Lego course of.
Dude, it's one of my career highlights for
sure.
I mean,
that's huge.
It's sitting on my desk right in front of me.
That is so huge.
I said trying to me here.
That's so cool.
I want you to. I got a little basic script that I want you to say, just because I want to hear it out of your mouth. Okay, I want you to say, oh my God, something to this effect. You can do it. You can do it. Something like, oh my God, Spencer Clawson is the first American to totally conquer Mount Midoriyama. This dude is a total badass.
I can't say that. In improbable fashion, the train conductor, Spencer Clawson, defying logic, defying reason, is the first American to conquer all 4 stages of Mount Midoriyama and earn the title of American Ninja Warrior.
Oh, it's so good. That is
Go
so
fuck
awesome.
yourself, Andy. Go fuck yourself, Andy.
That is so amazing.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. All
That's
right,
so
we
good.
got to end there. That's like, there's no better ending.
Guys, I had a blast.
Yeah,
Oh,
dude,
it's
awesome. Hey,
so much
dude, we're
fun.
stoked to have you. Like I said, you're big leagues for us. You know.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So
This is
we,
huge.
Yeah, we normally have punks like Ian
Jace.
Terry. And,
Oh, yeah.
Too late here.
Too late, Terry.
I will say, if you watch the finale, so I mean, again, I probably shouldn't have been there, but I was my buddy's a producer, so I was in the audience. I'm the first person to hug Ian after he won, and I lean into him and I go, "You're so getting laid tonight."
That's so great.
You know, actually, he told me that when he first got out of the house, he said this dude came up to me and he was like, "You're getting laid tonight," and he was like, "I thought he was offering."
I might have been. At that point, I'm such a fan.
Fuck it, yeah, exactly.
Oh, veto, baby.
Oh, that's so good.
All right, McCrae, what do you got?
I got nothing. Big shout out to Hamster Watch. Big shout out to Jokers. Big shout out to all the good sites. Everyone. I've got nothing. I thought I was supposed to have something, but I forgot completely.
Okay,
forgot,
well,
so.
hey, just everybody make sure you hit that thumbs up, subscribe. Matt, thanks for joining us. So, all right.
It was big.
Great.
Spencer, what do you got? You got nothing?
That's it, man. Follow me at Spencer B. Clawson. And
All right.
follow the Twitter at ontheblockpod.
All
My
right.
God. We
Well,
got too much shit.
I know it's so horrible. All right,
We
thank
need
you.
like just a screen that says it all.
We can do that actually. Well, thank you guys so much. We really appreciate it, and hopefully we'll see you next time on the block. Take care, and peace be with you, or something. We still got to work on that outro.
Yeah.
All right, see you later. Bye.